still don't understand how this thing's supposed to happen. Interesting thing. It's not for me to have an answer to that. I'm the guy with the questions. It's only for me to have a question. How is this thing supposed to happen? That poor guy. He's gonna take over. He hasn't, in any part of history that I've seen so far, ever succeeded in anything other than bullshitting the people he's screwing. They've been talking for years about it. The guy's got no money. They're not saying that. What they're saying is the guys around him have no money because he runs everything he gets involved in into bankruptcy. And that's 4 years ago when I did that, I said, we're about to fall apart. And who can deny that in that time, pandemic or not, we fall apart? And if we're still apart right now, well, the only way we can get out of it is by pulling each other together with a big group hug. The first thing we need to do is convince people that they can't believe that poor guy. They just can't. He's never had a majority of anything from anything I've ever heard. He's never. You're all up here high in arms going, ha! He's us. We're him. We are the only thing that this nation can be. Well, you're not even 50%. Keep that in mind. Didn't win the popular vote when he got in. Even when he got elected, he wasn't the most. And who would vote for fucking Hillary Clinton? Oh God! Hey, that's the whole idea of America. But they did, and more people voted for her, even though they don't like her, than they did for him, because really, they can't stand him. I've wondered, how is this that I'm not fucking brainwashed by that poor guy? And I realize it's because I never watched him on TV. I never saw him go, "You're fired." I never watched that show. You think I watched a lot of TV? I watch more now than I ever did, but, well, it's only because TV's better now than it ever was. Look what we had back then. Jeez, oh man. I really do believe that has a lot to do with all that. The idea that he was somebody that people recognized. They felt like they'd spend a night a week or however many, I don't know how many days a week it was on. Probably 7 days a week. Well, no, otherwise, if it had been 7 days a week, the whole company would have gone bankrupt, I suppose. Nobody fucking cared. But they felt like they knew him. They spent time with him. They let him into their heads. They showed them their child, and their child told them, say fuck everything. Hate, hate, hate. When's the last time you saw hate with a smile? Probably just then. But people don't know how to hate properly anymore. And I know it was Mike Muir off the album. I think the album was Asleep at the Wheel. But in that album, whichever one I'm thinking of, Mike Muir from Suicidal Tendencies said, I'll hate you better. And that's it. If you can do it with a smile, I hate you better. There are not 50% of the people in this country that support what that poor guy's talking about. He's good for a show. It's showtime. That's the line. It's showtime. Anytime somebody says it's showtime, it means they're about to bullshit you. And that's his line. He stole it from Michael Cohen. As far as I can tell, I'm not far enough into the book yet. You don't even have 50% of the nation on your side. If I were to stand up against the country as it is, being that I'm a person who cares about my own personal interests and those around me before I care about this country, I would expect, I'd say about 65% of people following the guy that I'm about to fight for because I've fucking lost my mind. 65. That's a good number. You take it 1% more and you've got a majority, a true majority. 67% it takes in the Colombian Squires to pass a bill. They need a majority, not just 50-50 like they vote for a New York mayor or something like that. You know, they need to know that everybody agrees with us. Why is that? Because then you don't have all the backbiting and infighting. 65% I say, why not just make it right? Make it a Colombian Squires 67%, Circle 1713, Gaylord, Michigan, Chief Squire. Last, you'll ever know. %65%. Yet, people are blindly following it less than 50%. If you're blindly following it less than 50% of the country, you think you've got more guns than the Democrats? Plenty of the Democrats have guns. I'm not any of these people. You consider all the people that aren't any of those people, and they're going to say, get the fuck out of my yard. And they're going to hit you in the head with a shovel. An ice scraper. I've got a really good ice scraper. Get out of my fucking yard. You're bothering me, kid. Less than 50%? And you're going to pull this stuff? You're just going to find yourself in trouble.